Hello.
Hi, DJ.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Louie and I were sitting here just watching your recent music video. He is absolutely in love with the song.
Hello, DJ. Hello, DJ. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well. This is my song. I'm telling you.
Thank y'all so much. It's been a few people that have told me that song lives rent free in their head. So I'm actually rather shocked. That song was never supposed to be my first single, and so the fact that people love it as much as they do, that's really, really humbling and really, really mind blowing, if nothing else. So thank you for the support.
Of course, of course.
Is it okay now? Is it a part of an album? Like, what's going on? Is it a single?
There is an album. What we're gonna do is, so Voicemail is the official lead single. I've had a few singles before Voicemail, but Voicemail is the lead single off of my new album. It's called My Life, A Soul Without a Heart. And so Voicemail is the lead, as I said. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna come out with another single, probably beginning the third quarter. I'll do a video for that as well, and then probably right the day the album comes out, that'll be the day the visual comes out.
That's amazing.
That sounds so dope. And you said the title is My Life, A Soul Without a Heart?
Yes.
Now, a little birdie told me that you are a really big K. Michelle fan, and that title sounds definitely like a K. Michelle type album.
It sure does.
So somebody did tell me that, and what's funny is when I came up with the title, her album hadn't even come out yet. She hadn't even told us what the title was. So when she came out with hers, I was like, oh, that's so dope. The original title of my album was Pain Behind a Smile, Volume 1. But then I was like, it just doesn't fit. And I was like, I really need something to describe this moment that I'm in. I really need something to describe the human that I'm dealing with. I really need something to describe the way I see myself in this season of life. And I saw something, it was posted on the Shade Room. They asked, if you could name this chapter of your life, what would it be? And I basically was just like, I honestly feel like I'm simply existing. I'm not living my life at all. I'm just kind of here. And so that's where the title A Soul Without a Heart came from. You know, I am a soul. You know, I am of God. So the thing that he did give to me is a soul. But of course, for any living thing, there has to be a pulse. There has to be a heartbeat there. And I just kind of felt like I was just, at that time, I just kind of felt like I was floating through life. I wasn't living at all.
So this project is a reflection of that period in your life.
Yes, this body of work is a reflection of a period in my life where I honestly just was not trying to be here. There was a time period where I struggled with substance abuse. I just drank all the time. I had no reason to sing. I didn't want to sing anymore. Music wasn't fun anymore. I was involved with somebody that I really had no business being with. And in that relationship, I really discovered that, later on down the line, I discovered that the reason why I was going through so many of those things, the source was that person, but I was allowing this person to just treat me any kind of way. But of course, when you're in a situation where you're in love and you kind of see yourself a certain way, it kind of makes it difficult for you to break away from a situation that's so obviously toxic. And so for me, that kind of describes that period in a nutshell. Sex was my go-to. That was my kryptonite. And so on top of being a functional drug addict, you're out here literally just sleeping around just to get a feeling, because you're not getting a feeling anywhere else, and you're just floating through life. So I don't want people to think that that's the overall feel of the album. It's definitely a core base, but you also get some very revealing things about my life. But it's also some like humor moments there as well. Some light moments of humor. So it's definitely I feel a well-rounded body of work. This is not the turn-up album. And this is definitely not the album that you're going to play on your way to church, but it's definitely gospel to somebody. And it'll definitely save some people for sure.
That's amazing, because there's some people out there that need to hear that. Like, let them know that they're not alone, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And my thing was, I felt like with this body of work, so what's crazy about this body of work, what the final product is, it was never supposed to be in the very beginning. If you guys remember the Colors project, Colors was very pop. It was almost like a sonic rainbow.
Yes.
Colors was it was something on there for everybody. And so this the follow-up was supposed to be the sequel to what Colors was. It was supposed to be that same sonic rainbow. I wanted 9 up-tempos and a ballad.
Mm-hmm.
But around that same time that I was in the beginning stages of creating that body of work, this person that I was dealing with just, there were some things in our situation that were not okay. And so it just kind of became everything that this person did, everything that was said, everything that I felt became a song. And in the very beginning, there were people, I would kind of, run some ideas by some people, and they'd be like, well, why do you have to say it like this? You're a guy. Like, men aren't supposed to be this emotional. Men aren't supposed to feel, much of anything. And then here you come, and you have this emotional piece of art. There's a song that I started on in the very beginning, and it basically somewhere in the song said, "I hope he gives you chlamydia" or something like that.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, I was really on it, and so I played this record for this person, and they were just like, a male artist wouldn't sing this, and I just that was kind of like the breaking point for me. So not only was I in this phase of just feeling like I was simply existing through life, I also was growing artistically and creatively. And so I just really wanted to say what I wanted to say. And so I basically, with this body of work, I feel like I've given you guys bits and pieces of who I am over the last several projects. But with this body of work, I really feel like I'm giving you guys all of my business. Like, after this body of work, I literally have told you everything.
Have you experienced that? I don't mean to cut you off, but have you experienced things like that often? And when I say things, I mean to where you would have an idea or a thought process behind your creative, how you want to show up as an artist, and you have folks trying to get you to either water it down or dumb it down or change it. Have you experienced that often?
Absolutely, especially in the very beginning. When I first started recording music on my very first project, which I honestly feel like I should go back and re-record, because I listened to some of the older material and I'm just like, I was on some other shit then. Absolutely, in the very beginning, I was affiliated with a independent label, and I was young, fresh out of an engagement, and I just really wanted to sing my way out of that. And the label was just like, no, we need you to give us like these love songs. We need you to give us a Joe. We need you to give us a Genuine. We need a Tyrese type of record.
R&B crooner.
But I'm not feeling that.
I
wasn't feeling it. And it showed. I mean, eventually I kind of got my way with making that body of work, but I still had to kind of bend a little bit. And you can tell in those records where I had to bend that the feeling just wasn't there. So I've always been that type of artist that if I'm going to sing something, or if I'm going to sing about anything, I at least want it to be honest, and I at least want it to translate to the person that's listening. Because people can read through that. People can read when it's not genuine.
Exactly.
How long have you been doing this? How long have you been singing? And B, how long have you been singing professionally?
So I have been singing all of my life, since the age of 2. But as far as professionally, I would say maybe the last 10 years. I would say the last 10 years I've really been serious about this.
Okay, so how long have you been working on this new album?
So I've been working on this new album since 2014. I literally came off of Colors and started working on this body of work. I had an idea for what I wanted it to be, because I initially wanted an EP. I was like, 10 songs was cool. Let's go for 6 this time. But then, like I said, I ended up with all of this all of this material. By the time we were done, we recorded over 50 records for this project. And so,
wow,
yes, we did over 50 records. I want to say 11 of those records ended up on the Prologue mixtape. And that mixtape was never supposed to be a thing. So the Prologue mixtape came. You got some throwaways from my album on that mixtape. Silent Treatment. What the fuck I look like? What else is on there? Shout out to My Ex was another favorite. But I feel like with this body of work, even though it's more songs than the mixtape, it definitely tells a plethora of stories throughout the album.
Wow.
Yeah.
But to answer the original question, the original question, I've been working on this album, since about 2014. So maybe, I want to say the last, 7 years?
And you know what? I'm glad that you took your time, that you're taking your time, because nowadays everybody just want to put out music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, we heard the same thing over and over again. Like, you need to disappear, go do something, and, come back and let us know. We don't want to hear the same thing over and over again. So that's what I'm saying. I'm glad that you took almost 6 years to craft the album that you want to make.
Absolutely. The thing that I am so grateful for in my situation with my engineer, he's absolutely amazing. Jay Bonkers, I will send y'all his info.
Jay Bonkers!
Yes, he's the GOAT. I love that man.
Yes. He's very good. Very, very, very good.
And he, I met him in the middle of doing the Colors record. I was working with someone, and they just disappeared. And I found him on Craigslist, and I've been riding with him since then. And he's not going anywhere. He is the GOAT. But what I wanted to do with this body of work, I remember we would be in the studio in the very beginning when all this craziness started. And he'd be like, all right, so we singing today? Like, what we doing? Because I would be so emotional, like I couldn't even get through a song. And it was one day he was like, all right, we got to get through this. Like, what we doing? Like, just we can't continue to waste studio time like this. So we finally started working, and he just let me do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
The record, there's a record on my project. It's actually a 2-part story. The interlude is Sex with My Best Friend's Ex, which...
Wait. No. You're not finna slide that in there like that.
I'm not gonna say about that.
Wait a minute. You said, Sex with My Best Friend's Ex?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh!
I can imagine how that's...
My Best Friend's Ex is the story that turns into Thinking with My Head. Sex with My Best Friend's Ex was a real life situation that occurred in this situationship with this person I had no business being with. And now
I'm gonna be nosy. I don't want to cut you off, but I'm gonna be nosy. Were you the person sleeping with? Were you the ex, or were you the best friend?
No, I was definitely the friend. I was the friend, and I was messing around with an ex of a friend of mine. And let me just say, that's not okay. Like, I just kind of came out of a situation like that with another friend who I don't know what their situation is. It's none of my business. But this friend was dating my ex. And so I just kind of felt the way. I really felt really strongly about that. And I didn't agree with it. And so I kind of went back to my situation and was like, okay, I kind of got to extend grace that I've been here. And maybe you just don't know any better, but that's not cool. There's certain codes, bro codes, that you don't break. And I definitely broke that bro code. But the karma that I received, I ended up catching an STD. So I caught an STD, and I had to explain to this person that I'm dealing with, hey, I'm literally sitting in the motions, like, all of this regret that I'm experiencing right now would have never been an issue had I stayed at home and kept my dick in my hand and thought with my common sense and not,
I am gagging.
So this album is very telling. This album is very, very telling. I'm telling it all.
Yeah, I can't wait for the album now.
I am very much into astrology, and you strike me as very emotional and transparent. May I ask, what is your sign?
I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo to the fullest.
Leos are usually not this emotional.
Yeah, I am. Because I love so hard.
Are you July or August?
I'm August.
Okay, that's the difference.
Yeah, I'm August Leo, so I'm so emotional. Like, when I love hard, and I think I think people know me to be. So I have a couple different personas. When I had OnlyFans, that was one persona, right?
And only who? OnlyFans?
OnlyFans. I had an OnlyFans once upon a time.
Word.
And so I sing about that on the album. So that was another thing I wanted to come across. I didn't want it to just be about, my heartbreak. I also wanted to tell some real life stuff too.
Right.
So I sing about being in my whole phase and, making videos for OnlyFans. There's a record called Masturbation on the album that is one of my absolute favorites. That thing goes hard. And
is this the male version of Hotels?
Like I said, the album has a few different phases. When you listen to it, it'll make sense. But the album has a few different phases. But in those phases, it tells a series of stories. And so, Sex with My Best Friend's Day, Take It With My Head, and Masturbation are all in that whole phase. So to speak, of the album.
I think I can see a visual album.
It's good. I'm thinking of like what male artist gives us like this content.
None. There is none.
Nothing.
And it's like the only one I can think of who maybe gives stories. I haven't listened closely enough to really tell, but I think his fans have a connection with him. Is the guy who he's August Alsina.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I was going to say R. Kelly. R. Kelly tells good stories.
Yes. Well, he did. Yes, he did. Yes.
Well, yeah, we're just going to take all that other stuff out of it. But when we look at the lyrical content, like R. Kelly,
yes, he right. Yes. He makes Yeah.
And so for me, my thing is I strive to be that artist that's going to give you a good story, but at the same time, you're going to get to know me in the music. You're going to get to know, my flaws. You're going to get to know my good points. You're going to get to know the way I think, the way I really am in my day-to-day, especially on this body of work. And so that's, I always strive to be the artist that says the things that other male artists will not say.
Was this a dream of yours?
I wanted to make music that was universal, but at some point something clicked in me and was just like, you've been through some things. Like, you have good stories, and there's somebody that needs to hear what you're singing about. It's not going to go over with everybody. Everybody's not going to like it. There are going to be some people that cringe when they see some of your titles. There's a record that was supposed to be, it was initially the first single, quote unquote, from this album era. It was called, I don't know if I can say this, but it was called Fuck Nigga. And so there was a part 1 and a part 2. And my mom, when I posted that song was coming out, my mom was like, really? Like, this is what you're gonna do? Like, you're putting this out? Like, you're gonna have a song like that's so derogatory? Like, why would you even have a song called that? And I'm like, have you even listened to the content of the song? Like, if you listen to the lyrical content, I'm basically saying to this person that I'm interested in, who no longer sees me of any value, like, I see you for who you are. Like, the reason you can't pick up the phone is because you always over there with them hoes. Like,
so is that the inspiration behind Voicemail?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is that the inspiration behind Voicemail?
No. So, funny story about the inspiration behind Voicemail. I was actually ghosted. So, Voicemail to some degree could be part 3 of Fuck Nigga to some extent. There was somebody that I really, really liked. I mean, literally, like, we would make out and create atmospheres like this. It was astronomical. Like, I had never felt anything like this. And this person ghosted me, not one time, but 2 times. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I can't keep letting this happen. Like, the second time was the worst time. And I was like, what is it about me that I'm giving off? And so the song initially was supposed to be called something else, but then it was like, I know you saw me calling.
I know you got my message. I know you saw me calling. I know you got my message. I know you saw me calling. I know you got my message. And I know you ain't sleep. When I heard that part, I was like, yes!
Yeah, like, the way the song was written was exactly how it happened. Like, I've been blowing up your phone, but you are not answering. And it's a dial tone voicemail again, and I text you this morning, and it's It's 1 a.m. in the morning, like, and I still haven't gotten anything from you. Like, what's good? Like, you're on my Instagram story. You know, I see you posted on Facebook.
So many people can relate to that song. I tell you.
Like, what is that? So, that was the inspiration behind Voicemail. Now, the video is a different story from my life, but it's based on true events. Yes.
Well, I'm going to say something. I have a confession.
Okay.
I have been watching you for quite some time.
Wow.
And I am so thrilled that you're still doing this.
Thank you.
Because I remember once upon a time we were both young 20-something-year-olds trying to do the thing.
Yeah.
And also the growth in your voice is magnificent.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Now, you always had tone. You always had control. You always had emotion. It's like now, it's a texture on it now. I don't know whether it's just maturity or whether it's age or what it is, but it's something thick on it. It's like a sap, and I love it.
Thank you so
I
much.
love it. I love it. I love it.
I don't know. But no, seriously, I appreciate that. Thank you. I will say this album, I definitely found out who I was. Not just vocally, but artistically. I definitely found out who I was. I was more open this time around to trying different sounds and
that's amazing.
Trying different sounds and trying different textures and approaching my songs a different way. I definitely wanted an emotional body of work, but I also wanted something that people wouldn't get tired of hearing after, the first 3 records, if they even got that far. So I will say, once again, and I've gone back and forth about this with my engineer, because I'll be like, all right, this is the last song. And he's like, all right, 10 records later, this is the last song. Are you sure? And so I've been going back and forth, kind of deciding or trying to decide, do I want to, add any up-tempos to what this body of work is? And what I've ultimately come to is, what this album is what it is. This time in my life was not a good time. It was not party central. Like I said, I literally, for a period of this, of this section of me working on this album, I literally was fighting for my life. Like I said, you have this addiction fighting. You are a complete hoe out here in the streets. You don't want to sing anymore. At the same time, somewhere in that interim, I lost my dad. I lost my grandmother.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Like real life was happening while I was
oh
making
my
this
God.
album. So this album has everything on it. There's even the way the album closes. There's a record called Forever that I actually was going to put out on Father's Day, but due to a situation with someone who no longer matters, we were no longer able to put that record out on Father's Day. But it is the closer of my album, and it's a very, very emotional record. I feel like, if not the most honest song I've ever written. It forced me to kind of relive some things that were some beautiful memories, let me be clear. It definitely forced me to relive some beautiful memories, but at the same time, they're painful because the person that you experience these memories with is no longer present.
Yeah.
So, this was, like I said, making this album was definitely therapeutic. I definitely healed a lot making this album. And I think I'm healed from the majority of it. But of course, there are some things that take a little bit more time. And so I think I'm still healing from those things. But I think the more I talk about those things and make those things known, I went into this album, I was just like, I don't care if people judge me for my past transgressions. I don't care if people don't agree. I don't care if people, look down on me or, shun me or whatever the case may be, because for every person that does that, there are at least 10 other people that are going to see
absolutely. Facts.
Because they can relate to what it is I'm singing about, or they can find themselves in these songs and begin their healing process.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I've been following you all this time, and I never knew would you mind? How old are you?
Oh,
Oh, did I try it? I'm sorry.
that's fine. I've never been shy about my age. I am a proud 31.
What?
Yes.
That's it?
That is it. I am 31.
Oh my God. I was telling my partner Louie, because when I was going through kind of like our personal history, I was like, well, I don't know if DiiJai remembers me. And he was like, well, are you sure? I said, I don't know. I was trying to give him an idea of how old you were.
I do remember.
You do?
I do remember. And here's the thing. So it's so funny because there was a girl, strangely enough, I was singing on someone's Instagram live. I was doing something. And this girl sent me a DM and she was like, I don't know if you remember me, but I literally used to see you and your family at the hospital. She was like, this sounds so strange. But she was like, it's when your brother was going through his leukemia treatment. She was like, I used to see you at the hospital all the time. And you would always be at the hospital singing. And you were just always so sweet. And like, she kind of took me down memory lane. I'm like, gosh, like I hadn't seen you like for babies. And she was like, I'm so shocked that you still remember me, but I'm so glad to see that you're still singing and doing music. And I'm glad that you brought that up too, because there was a point in time where I was like, I don't want to do music anymore. It's not fun.
But even hearing that is like crazy to me, because like I said, I was telling Lou, stories from back in the day and going to the studio and this thing and that thing, and I'm like, we both loved it and we're in it so hard. At such early ages.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine you wanting to walk away.
It was a few things. I felt like what I offered wasn't enough. Being on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me dig into that just a little bit. You said not enough. Not enough as an artist, not enough for for an audience, for management, like not enough for whom?
Anything. Because, and I'm going to tell you why, because being on the scene in Atlanta, I learned that Atlanta is very cliquish.
Yes.
It's all about who you know. It's all about who you can bump elbows with. In most cases, it's about what can you do for the other person. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, when you're made to feel like your sound makes you inadequate because you're not churchy, or because you don't do a whole bunch of runs in your performance, or because you don't have this high tenor, or you're not a male soprano, so to speak. Those things can play into your insecurity. On top of that, when you have people in every direction telling you, oh, you're too black, I would never book you, or you're too talented, I would never book you. Like I literally went through a situation where I was trying to get booked for an event at a club, and the promoter said, "Dude is singing, like he can sing his face off, but I'm not gonna let a faggot outshine my artist." Like you go through that, you go through you're too eccentric, you're too much, it's too much, tone it down, or you're too emotional, and like when you have all of that coming at you, you kind of lose yourself in the commentary, and those things start to fester, and it's like, well, am I really good enough? Am I really? Yeah. Am I really as talented as people say I am? Like, can I really sing, or am I just making noise? But then you get to that place where it's just like, wait a minute, God made me, and because He made me, I'm of God.
Period.
Straight up.
This is an insult to God. He gave me this gift, and so He gave me this gift, and here I am questioning it. But nothing about God is imperfect. So what are you saying? You know what I mean? And when you have that moment of clarity, it's like, whoa, okay, maybe I do need to use this gift that He gave me. Maybe I need to ask Him what I need to do with it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I've just gotten lost in what all of these other people are saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with this superpower that's been given to me. And so when you go through that, when you have that moment, it's like, okay, I have no other choice but to sing. That's what I'm supposed to do. So when you have that moment, it was like, okay, I don't know if I have another album in me. I don't know if I have, more songs, but I definitely have these for now, and that's okay. But let's go ahead and get these out to the people that need to hear it. So that's why I was saying, you know, even with the titles of my songs, they may be unorthodox. The people may frown upon it. People are going to say what they're going to say. It's not for everybody.
But you know what?
But it's honest.
My response to it being unorthodox is, and I've had to tell myself this in response to critiques or whatever from audience or, people in the industry or whatever. No one walking the face of this earth is another DJ. Nobody. So guess what? Your titles, your music, how you present on stage or in music videos, it's supposed to be unorthodox. It's supposed to be uniquely you.
Exactly.
It's not supposed to look like anyone else. It's not supposed to. And if it does, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it completely wrong. There is enough room for everybody that wants to do music because there's somebody that needs a you on their playlist. Now, I will tell you, even in that, for me, I've definitely have gotten to a place where I'm just like, all right, with this album, we're just gonna do what feels right. People are not gonna agree. I think the person that I was most concerned about disappointing are the people that I was most concerned about disappointing were my mom and my brother. I definitely hold their opinions in high regard. However, I also understand that, I, as an artist, as a creative, I have a responsibility to get my vision out.
You have a responsibility to the art and to your gift.
Yep, to my art and to my gift. And they're not always going to agree with everything. I actually have some concepts for this album that I can clearly see are going to have to be I'm going to have to prep before the visual air, because it's definitely going to spark a conversation. And so I definitely want them to be prepared, but also understand that, artistically, this is what this body of work calls for. So
is there a date in mind?
I have a date in mind. I don't know when specifically. I have a date in mind though, and I'm just gonna see. I'm just gonna see how everything plays out. I have a concept for my cover, which has really been one of the primary holdups. I definitely have a vision in mind for my cover, but I want it to be right. I want it to be done the right way, and I want it to translate well. So I definitely am getting the last pieces of that together. So then once I post that cover, you guys will get the date as well as the track list, as well as the new song or two.
Now, in preparation, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, but for now, Voicemail is it. We actually are working on a remix.
Ooh.
For Voice. Yes. Sammy Austin, another talented rapper here in Atlanta, he did a feature on Fuck Nigga. And so he sent me over a verse. He was like, I just want to see what you think about this. He was like, I was just listening to Voicemail. I heard this. Let me know what you think. And I was like, all right, well, send it over. So he sends it over, and I'm like, when can we get in the studio and do this? This is lit. So we are planning a remix for Voicemail right now. And just as soon as that's done, it'll be out. I'm going to give it to y'all probably as a freebie just to kind of keep the momentum going.
I'm here for it.
Shortly thereafter, you guys will have the second single.
Now, in preparation for this interview, of course, we had to do our searching.
Yes.
And I don't know where the bio is or what's going on, but please tell our viewers and listeners, where are you from?
I'm originally from Clark County, from Athens, Georgia.
Athens.
Yes, I am Southern Baptist, you name it.
Have you been in Georgia your whole life?
I have been in Georgia the majority of my life. I briefly attended South Carolina State University for a couple of years. And so I lived in Orangeburg probably from 2017 to 2019. And at the Georgia. Andrew Parks used to be my babysitter.
You said Phaedra Parks?
Mm-hmm, she used to be my babysitter.
I was about to ask you, do you know Phaedra from Athens?
Yes, my mom taught her baby sister. And her baby sister used to babysit me too. My mom worked with her mom, Regina. She's been on a couple of episodes of Housewives. But yes, Regina used to work with my mom, the Reverend Regina Bell.
Now check that.
Reverend Doctor, Regina Bell.
Where can the people find you? Your socials? Is it everything I Am DiiJai?
Yes, it is everything I Am DiiJai, except for my YouTube. It's simply DiiJai. But you can find me everywhere. If you Google DiiJai, all of my information will pop up. I am Google.
And for everyone listening, DiiJai is DiiJai, correct?
Yes. They do be so cheap. I have honestly considered just going back to my government because they butcher my name so badly. But it lets me know I have a lot of work to do, because if they're still butchering my name, that means a lot of people don't know me. So we gotta change that.
But a lot of us do, and we love your work. We appreciate your grind. We appreciate your work. Mm-hmm. We can tell by your growth that you actually, you value the craft. You respect the craft enough to come correct.
Yes, absolutely. I've kind of dibbled and dabbled in some vocal production and kind of helping some people in the studio with their own projects, and it has definitely given me a whole new respect for not just the art of vocal production, but production as a whole and the whole business of music. Because it's one thing when you are equipped and you can go in the booth and you can knock out a song in a couple of hours. But when you're having to coach someone who may or may not be as musically inclined or as musically skilled as you are, it can be challenging. So I definitely have a whole new respect, and my thing is definitely to learn as much as possible about the craft, so that if there's anybody that I see coming up and they're trying to do, what I do, or even go into a different area of it, they at least have some knowledge, or I can pass on some healthy knowledge over to them, because all knowledge is not healthy or positive. But if I'm able to give them something that they're able to utilize and remember and hold on to, that's going to encourage them to want to keep going in those moments where they feel like quitting, or in those moments where they feel like I don't have the strength, or I don't have the inspiration to write, or I don't have the motivation to sing, or I don't feel like doing this anymore, they can at least find the reason why they even started doing it.
All that is wonderful, and like I said, we are so grateful and thankful that you are still putting DiiJai out here for us to see, for us to hear, for us to consume and appreciate. As we wrap up, I just have a quick 3 questions. If you can, I hope it doesn't stir up any mess, but I'm going to ask anyway.
I have all the time in the world for you guys, so if there are more questions, you guys can ask me whatever. We are like family at this point.
Yes.
So anything you guys want to ask, feel free.
First question: Keyshia Cole or K. Michelle?
That is so hard. They both have gotten me through some stuff. I've been with Keyshia longer. But she has me blocked on Instagram.
Ooh, who doesn't she has blocked?
She has me blocked on Instagram, and it's so bad because she knows how much I love her, but I inserted myself in something that I should have never inserted myself in. And she blocked me because of that. But K. Michelle, I've actually been around, and she and I have actually hung out, or were hanging out in the very, very beginning of her career. And so, can I say bold?
No,
No easy way out.
No.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. What are we basing this on? Are we basing this on, like, vocal ability? Or
on whatever you want to base it on. Like, you have one album to put in, and that's it. Like, you have one album to play for the next 7 days from either K. Michelle or Keyshia Cole. Who you going with?
Okay, I had one album to play for the next 7 days. It would be Keyshia Cole's "The Way It Is."
And
okay. Amazing. Okay. We're not going to discount that, but if I just had to pick
that second one really did go hard.
The second one went hard, but I would have to pick the first one because she was so raw, she was so new, and Keyshia was 100%. Like she didn't care about the industry stuff. She was Keisha from Oakland, and it's so authentic. That doesn't take away from K. Michelle's authenticity and her uniqueness. But if I just had to pick one album, it would definitely be Keisha Cole's The Way It Is.
All right, next question. As far as debut albums, are you taking Whitney Houston's debut, or are you taking Mariah Carey's debut?
Man, what's these hard? But let me just say this, because I feel, people can say what they want to say, but I feel strongly about this because she is the reason that I even wanted to sing, or part of the reason I even wanted to sing, because my dad was a singer. It was Whitney, so I would say that's Godmama Whitney. You know what I mean? So, Whitney, but as far as Mariah, like, I'm a diehard Lamb. And so,
I am too. I live for Mariah.
I mean, she does no wrong.
I live for her pen. Ooh!
I love Mariah.
You right?
She's that girl. I don't care what people say about her. She is that girl.
You write songs, correct?
Yes.
See?
I write, I would say 98% of my catalog I wrote.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 98% of my catalog I wrote.
That's dope.
I got a real hard one next.
Oh, man. Okay, so if I just had to pick one or the other, I'm going to say Whitney. I'm going to say Whitney. And I say Whitney is because, so I love both of their catalogs extensively. But as far as Mariah, her debut wasn't my favorite Mariah album.
Okay.
So right now I'm kind of stuck in the Daydream, Butterfly, Rainbow era, because Rainbow is that album to me. Rainbow is, like she was that girl.
Diamond album. That's that Diamond album. Well, one of her Diamond albums.
It was Daydream and Music Box. Those are her two.
Yes, Music Box, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next one. Are you ready? We're gonna go gospel, okay?
Okay, we're going gospel. Here we go.
Woo! Brace yourself.
All right, let's see.
Kim Burrell, absent all the foolishness that she's been caught up in the past few years. Kim Burrell vocally, or Karen Clark Sheard.
Hands down. Okay, wait. Okay, so individually, I love these women for what they bring, right? Kim has tone to me. Karen has range. If we're to talk about, I feel like if you want to get up and dance, you're going to go to Karen. If you want to worship, you're going to go to Kim. So if I had to pick one or the other, I would say Karen Clark Sheard. I had a personal experience with Karen, actually. I said I was going to tell this story on YouTube, but since we're here, I'll go ahead and tell y'all. So I had gotten off of work, and I came home, and a friend of mine called me, and he was like, hey, I got somebody who wants to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, well, who's on the phone? He's like, hold on, I got you. Give me a second. And I'm like, all right. So I'm literally sitting here in my room, like, who is he about to put on the phone? Like, is it President Obama? Like, who are we talking to? And so she gets on the phone, and she's like, hello. And I'm like, hi. And I'm like, who is this? She's like, this is Karen Clark Sheard. And I'm like, stop playing. I'm like on the Gilead, Karen Clark Sheard. Like, is my living in vain, Karen Clark Sheard? She's like, yes. And your friend tells me that you want to sing a song for me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I sang The Will of God for Karen Clark Sheard over the phone. And she was just like...
Give me the first line. Give me the first line. Or the first 5 words.
All right. First 5 words. The safest place in all the world.
Yes!
The will of God. Oh, the safest place.
Come to vibrato.
Land is in the master's hand. It may be on a mountain peak or in the valley low. But wherever it may be, if God says go, 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 you better go. It's something like that.
Holla shaboka, holla shaboka.
If there was ever a perfect place to wrap an interview, that was the moment.
Oh my goodness.
That was the moment. Thank you so much, DJ, for calling in. We have enjoyed you. We love you. Everyone, voicemail is out now. It is the official first single. Yes, you can find him on all social media platforms at I Am DJ. That's DiiJai.
Yes.
Do you have a booking email?
Yes. My booking email is bookdj@gmail.com. So that's book, like the book you read, DiiJai@gmail.com.
bookdj@gmail.com. Voicemail is out now. The album, I believe you said A Soul Without a Heart, My Life?
Yeah.
My life, A Soul Without a Heart.
My Life,
A Soul Without a Heart is coming soon.
It is coming soon, everyone. Please.
Get your coins ready.
Please. Get your coins, get your clicks, get your shares, get your likes and your comments. Get them ready. Please go check out DJ. He is fabulous. You just heard the anointing.
Y'all heard them church runs in there. Y'all heard it.
Oh, man. Thank you, guys.
And we thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I will talk with y'all when the album comes out. I will be here. You guys go stream voicemail, stream it.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a good night.